of the various different one of the various different residences here. I was a St. FX graduate in 2021. Enjoyed my time so much that I stuck around and work now full time at the university. Several other of my colleagues do the same. Lots of great things, lots of great memories and experiences I've had at this university. Super thankful for all that. Um, but yeah, in this role that I sit at here, just generally it's to kind of help navigate the students and in residents that live in our residence buildings. Make sure that everybody has a positive experience, guide you to the different resources or things that we have available on campus. And then I oversee the students who work inside the building. So, like the residence assistants, but they're called community advisors here. And so those are students just like yourself who, live in MacKinnon Hall and are going to be, working duty in night shifts every night of the week to make sure the building is fun and happy and great place to live, right? So part of my duty as well is to maintain a 24-hour on-call response. I'm not always on call. One of the six RLCs we kind of rotate through with the phone, and yeah, so we respond on more higher level things that are happening. But it's a very efficient and good residence operation that we have here, and I'm one of the coordinators. I have Jack as well on the call. Let him introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks, John. Yeah, my name's Jack Kennedy. I don't actually work with Residence Life. I work in recruitment here on campus, but I'm just kind of here today to support John. If you kind of have any questions outside of the realm of residence, I'll kind of be here to point you in the right direction or answer your questions. I'm coming from Alberta too as well, so I was kind of brought up in Calgary, so a little bit close by, Edmonton and Calgary. But I've been in Antigonish since university, and I graduated last year. But if you have any questions kind of outside of the residence life, I'll be here as well.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, so I guess to start, I'm just going to go through kind of a brief introduction of MacKinnon Hall. And then we filmed a little short video. Bear in mind, I'm not the best actor, but it was fun nonetheless to record. And we'll show that on the screen, and then we can go through some of the more administrative kind of things as we get closer to you guys, becoming students here. So just to start, McKinnon Hall is all doubles, right? So you're gonna have a unique opportunity to socialize, have a roommate. It's a very close-knit community. It's a really nice spot for you to make memories and enjoy, living with somebody in a shared room. Part of my job is to navigate those roommate arrangements. So if there is somebody that is going to also be living in McKinnon Hall, like for a friend from high school or something like that that you might want to live with, you can feel free to email that request to residents at stfx.ca, so that they can then process your housing application to put you guys in a room together. Um, but if at any point, as the school gets going, that there are concerns with like roommates and that sort of thing, that's part of my job to help navigate that. One of the tools we have is roommate agreements. So right at the beginning of the year, myself, some of the CAs, we help walk students through roommate agreements so that when you're sharing a space and you're living in the same room, there's some kind of common ground and some expectations and things that you guys can be on the same page about, so it doesn't transpire into larger issues down the road. So fully co-ed as well is the one we get asked quite often about McKinnon. It's that means that it's fully gender neutral throughout the floors. There's no you know separation of any of that. The bathrooms themselves are totally gender neutral. They're shared bathrooms with private stalls for toilets and showering. There's three different bathrooms on each one of the floors. And yeah, laundry room services as well. There's two laundry rooms, which is actually quite a bonus for this building. It's there's I think between all the machines, there's like six washers and maybe eight dryers. Like there's never really much of a concern about having access to those machines. And a question we get asked quite often is, do I need to carry coins and that sort of thing around to operate the machines? And so that they levy a fee on the student account, and that's paid for all kind of upfront as a flat rate. There's two lounges in the basement. They're quite large. We'll see that in the video that we show. Um, Great space to hang out. They're yeah, quite a lovely. Uh, there's TV in there, a lot of seating. Um, Nice hangout spot for the building. If you do plan on coming to campus with a vehicle, you got to keep in mind that we're all going to need to have parking passes. So parking on campus is by permit only. There is space nearby that you can park your vehicle overnight, but it's just one of those things that you want to register through the box office, I guess, is the one to administer that, and they can have all of your permits and everything, your vehicle information all entered and ready to pick up. So it just makes it easier when you do arrive on campus. One less thing, that you're going to have to navigate. But just overall, in my opinion, MacKinnon Hall probably has one of the best locations. It's situated right in the dead center of campus, next to the meal dining hall. The Starbucks is there, so all the meal services runs right across the street. It's also adjacent to the science hall, so if you're going to be taking chemistry, physics, engineering, any of those, and then also the business hall is right across the street as well. So really good proximity to some of these spaces. A lot of students, they tell me that MacKinnon, they can just kind of their whole circle is pretty small. Like they go from home to their classes and then over to the dining hall, and you don't really leave. I don't know, maybe a 300-foot walk from any one of these buildings, right? And then in the winter, with all the snow we get, it does tend to be handy to have that, that kind of a location. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Well, I'll answer some of the questions that came into the chat right now, and then we'll throw the video up. So if I scroll up here, so are the rooms air conditioned? So there is no air conditioning in MacKinnon Hall. I will say in the beginning of the year, late August, early September, it can get quite a bit warm. But if opening the window and just bringing a fan, a table fan or something, to help blow some of the air around it, it really it very quickly becomes not an issue, the temperatures. And every room is equipped with a radiator to because some people like it a lot hotter. But yeah, typically if the rooms are a little bit hot in the first 2 weeks when you arrive here, but it's not nothing that isn't too much of an inconvenience. And if you are somebody who does enjoy, I would recommend bringing a fan um, when you come. But we'll get into all of the items that you should and shouldn't bring later on in the chat here. Um, so study area sections, there isn't a specific like study area in the building. There are the two lounges downstairs that act as kind of multi-space. So, there are tables down there to study on, and but they're not like a quiet only lounge. So students can use them for video gaming or for hanging out with their friends. Um, but it is again in really close proximity to some of the other study spaces on campus. So, uh, like the libraries across the hall or across the road and those sort of things. So, um, when do we find out about our roommate? So, our roommates, we'll get into a little bit about the timeline after the video, but the essentially mid-July you'll get a uh, information about your housing contract, and in that it'll give you your specific room and then who your roommate is assigned to. Um, but it will be before you arrive on campus. Um, so the bathrooms are shared or are they separate? So they are shared common area in the bathroom, but they're private in the toilet and in the shower stalls. And this is this kind of style of bathroom is what we're seeing. A lot of the newer renovations on campus are modeling this style, like the fitness facility and the pool have totally open and shared common areas of them, but they're in the change room. But then there's areas for you to change and for you to use the bathroom and shower and that sort of thing in a private separate stall. So um, Heather asked, do the residences have TVs? If not, is setting one up in the room allowed? So yes, TVs do not come with the rooms. We'll show the video on kind of what's included and what you should bring. But yeah, it's totally an item that would be allowed. But there is TVs in the lounge, yeah. So if you request a roommate like a friend from high school, are you guaranteed to be put together? Um, there's a very strong chance that that's going to happen. Yeah, that's housing deals with the like roommate allocations, but if you have somebody specifically that you want to come and live with and they are also in agreement and that's kind of a request from both, then absolutely. I haven't experienced a situation where people like that haven't been able to live with folks that they want to. So, I think if Laura, if you could put the video on, and we'll just, I got some people who were in MacKinnon, some students at the time to just help kind of film. And again, I'm definitely not an actor by any means, but it's just a quick short video to showcase more visually for you guys, like the bathrooms, the lounges, the hub room, um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So.
Hi, my name is John. I'm one of the Residence Life Coordinators here at St. FX University. Come with me while we check out MacKinnon Hall. We're going to go in the McNeil side door, so come on and check it out with me.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a second year student staff that lives in MacKinnon Hall. This is one of our lounges. We have plenty of space to sit, this beautiful mural that you get to sign at the end of the year, and a TV provided at the end, perfect for you to plug in your laptop or gaming console so you can relax with your friends. This is one of the bedrooms in MacKinnon Hall. It comes prepped with a bed, a desk, and a dresser for you and your roommate. Each one of the rooms in MacKinnon Hall is a double, so you get to spend your time with a roommate all year, which makes living in your first year a lot more fun.
Come on here and check out one of the 3 bathrooms that we have on each one of the floors here in MacKinnon Hall. There's each equipped with 2 bathrooms, or two toilets, 3 sinks, and 2 showers in all of the stalls. So here we are, one of the 2 laundry rooms in MacKinnon Hall. This is a great facility for you guys to get your laundry done. It's got 2 wash machines and 3 dryers. You don't need to worry about paying with any coins or any of that pesky dealing with money. It's got a place for you to fold your laundry and sit while you wait for it to be done. So now you've seen the rest of MacKinnon Hall, I want to take you into the hub room here. This is the student CA staff room where it's sort of a lounge. You can come here, you can hang out, sit with the staff, myself included. This is where you'll see me on the weekend. I'll be here, helping assist with programming and all of the other things that go on in the building. So look forward to seeing you here in September.
Cool. Yeah, so that's a couple things to add on that. I didn't uh, I didn't specifically include that my office, where I'm at right now and where I work out of, is located in that CA hub room. So it's really important that I am exactly living or I'm working out of the space of MacKinnon Hall, and it's made a big difference in our residence operation, having RLCs have offices in the building. Um, so Heather asked, uh, is there a curfew when you have to wake up, or is that up to the student? So there is no like curfews where students have to be in or up and gone by the day. It's pretty up to their individual preferences. One of the things we work on, like with the roommate agreements, is acknowledging if you're like an athlete that needs to be up for 6 a.m. practice, How is that going to impact living with your roommate if they're not, or the kind of those expectations on when bedtime is and lights off and noise levels and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, there's no curfew at all. But the one thing I will say is after 8 p.m., I believe, MacKinnon Hall has three entrances, but after 8 p.m., the only one of the doors will swipe open just as a kind of added security measure so that everybody who comes into the building is walking right past the CA hub room where the students are working out of, and so they can monitor to make sure that everybody in here is supposed to be in here. Now, with that being said, another thing that we often get asked is the guest policy. Keep in mind that students are totally residents are able to have their own guests in. We encourage that kind of socialization outside of the building. But there is a guest policy in place where if you are going to be having guests stay overnight or after 8 p.m., that they're signed in. So just to know who's in the building and to make sure that the residence is kind of properly supervised and that sort of thing. But the guest policy itself is something that when I share the residence handbook, it's a policy that you can review so that you're familiar with it. And if you're not, I mean, the students or the staff will remind folks as they transition here about what those rules are. So yeah, thank you, Heather. I didn't know the acting. It was phenomenal, so I appreciate that. Um, is the hub different from the lounge? So the hub room it's essentially like the staff office, like the staff break room. It's a space that all the students who work as CAs in the team at MacKinnon have access to a space that they can invite students into. We do programming out of the hub room. Arts and crafts. It's a kind of a catch-all for some of our supplies that we run arts nights, and yeah, we sometimes will be doing like grilled cheese or some kind of food-based programs as well. It's just kind of like our student staff room, right? But it is open after 8 p.m. when students are on duty for folks to come in and and hang out, chat, get to know the CAs and that sort of thing. Um, Next question here is uh, what again about the library? Where is it? So the library is if you review a map of campus, the library is just a building over from MacKinnon. There's basically like MacKinnon Hall, Meal Hall, and then the library. So they're all within a really close proximity. But you will get familiar with the academic spaces and everywhere you're going to need to travel as a student quite quickly when you arrive here. But again, the campus parking map is the best one I've found for building names, locations, parking lots, all those sorts of things to kind of familiarize yourself before you get here with. Really good, strong, reliable internet. Yep, it's part. So basically, your login would be the same that you use for your email. And a bit on the email, it's going to be one of the most useful things over the summer for information to be shared, for updates and things that you're going to like. It's the main line of communication that we encourage you to begin learning how to use it and building those habits, because it's what your professors will email you on. It's what other important updates or notifications the campus has are shared through the Outlook. So every student has one. It's going to be emailed to you through like the acceptance package. It should have been for a login, and that same login is what you'll use when you arrive here for our internet on campus. Um, is there a student profile that MacKinnon caters to, more social, later sleep, party, vice versa? Yeah, it's so just to give a quick rundown, our residence operation are pretty much broken into two different styles of living. So we have first year tend to be more first year traditional residences. And then we have suite style is what we call them, which are more popular among the upper year students. But the suite style residences are have their own bathroom and a small kitchenette in each room. And so where when you're wondering kind of what style of building might be more fit for you, MacKinnon is all of those things that you just said. It's very social. It's the I wouldn't say partying, but definitely engaging and fun activities going on. It's a really energetic building, um, but it certainly is still home to students who prioritize academics and everything else like that. So it really is kind of just what you make it. But as a building whole, it is one of our traditional first year residences, and it's all doubles, which does play an impact on kind of the dynamic. It's in terms of like the numbers of students that we have living in the building are higher because compared to other resident sizes, because they're two per room here, where other buildings we have are just a single room, right? Um, so thank you, Lars, posted the residence guidebook and the campus map. Riley asked, what can we put on the walls? Can you use tape, command strips, etc.? So you're able to, I would recommend that, like, command strips can come off without damaging the paint behind them if they're done properly. Um, Same with tape. So long as it doesn't leave um, when they go to move out, it doesn't leave damage to the wall or the gyprock. Uh, that's essentially it for like if you're able to put it up. So if you feel confident that it's not going to leave any sort of a damage behind, poster putty is an easy one. Some styles of tape and command hooks, if you properly pull them or remove them, they won't leave any sort of remnants on the wall. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. But again, most students have their walls of their rooms completely covered with flags, posters, everything, you name it, right, to personalize them. So just we ask that if you do so by making sure that the walls are in the same state that you moved in they were, right? What is the temperature at the university? Because the place I am from is hot. So do I have to bring some long sleeve clothes and sweaters, perhaps? Yes. So to answer that one, I found Nova Scotia um, quite warm in comparison to Alberta. Our winters are we're a little bit colder, and our summers I find in Alberta are a little bit hotter. But for the time that you'll be here as a student from September till April, uh, I would say the biggest thing for me adjusting here was the snowstorms. We do tend to get quite large snow inclement weather events here in the Maritimes, and so there are expect that there could be campus closures if it's unsafe for people to get to school and professors and that sort of thing. But in terms of like what you should be packing, like clothing wise, I would absolutely say you're going to need a really solid pair of winter boots or some sort of winter footwear that you're able to walk around in outside. The grounds crew does a fantastic job in clearing all of the sidewalk steps, doorways, putting down salt, all of that sort of thing. But we tend to get like a freeze thaw here that I wasn't really familiar with moving here, and so there's some ice and that sort of thing. So just to keep yourself safe, yeah, really good footwear in the winter is paramount. And then in terms of layers and that sort of thing, you did also definitely need to bring a like winter coat and that sort of thing. So um, is September 8th the only move-in day? So actually, MacKinnon Hall moves in on the 30th of August. However, there are more than one move-in days, and we do this to stagger the move in so that it's not as crazy chaotic all at once. I know when I was a student here, we had the one move-in day, and all 9 residences were trying to haul their things into their rooms, and so it created kind of quite a chaotic environment. So in recent years, we've staggered it. MacKinnon Hall is going to be on August 30th. There's going to be a specific time that they will email out and communicate when they would prefer the move-in to be. That tends to either be like in the morning at 8 a.m. or at 4 p.m. So again, I would keep a close eye on your email because that's going to be sent out closer to move-in day. But it's not an absolute must. It's just to be considered because there's only so many roads, and when we do our best to stagger everyone arriving at campus at once, it makes it logistically a little bit easier of a move-in process. But I believe, yeah, like this year it was at 8 in the morning on the 30th. But there are other move-in days for other buildings, and then there's also a relaxed start date, which is I think on the 27th. It's a few days earlier for students who are anxious about process or just maybe need a little bit more time to adjust, get the room set up, and that sort of a thing. So if that's something that you feel like you might need, uh, totally reach out to residents at stfx.ca because they are the ones who will accept that request for your move-in day. Or if there is travel arrangements that make you unable to move in at the time that they want you to, just send an email out to residents at St. FX and just share those so that we know an idea of when you're coming in, right? Oh, thank you, Lara. So relaxed start email is to studentlife at stfx.ca. Um, so I another question here, Riley. When is Bishop's Hall move-in day? So Bishop's is the same day. Yeah. So okay. All the questions. I'm going to go back now to the script just for a quick second. So we saw the video. I guess what you can expect for the community. I touched on like staying on top of your emails and such, but there's also a Instagram page for the building. It kind of explains the when, the how, everything, takes place inside the building. There's programming that's going to get circulated, advertisements for that. So any activity going on, it's a great way to stay in the loop with things that, are happening in MacKinnon, and then things that are happening on the wider campus in general. So I'd encourage you guys to share or to follow that on Instagram, and stay in the loop that way. That tends to be the main kind of social media platform that we use. And then there's also like a link tree where you'll be able to access like pages and stuff through that Instagram account. But yeah, great way just to start. And I think the MacKinnon Hall Instagram is MK Saint Effects or MacKinnon Saint Effects. I should get that. Or Laura, if you could maybe get the Instagram handle so you guys can just start following that. Um, there is another virtual building meeting that's going to take place closer to move-in day. So this is a new kind of initiative we're doing right now. But when we approach the move-in day in early August, another Zoom session email will be sent out with this along with the incoming student survey. Um, and we'll just chat more about the specifics. If there's another opportunity, if you have questions about St. FX or residents or anything for me, feel free to ask it at that time. But so that's going to take place in early August. Yeah. So also Student Life, St. FX Student Life on Instagram is a great one to follow. Lara's put it in the chat there. So they do campus wide events and that sort of thing that all students from every residence could be engaged and attend. So it's another great way. There's building specific things going on, but then there's also campus wide things going on. And then lastly, I'll just say get involved with the residence council. So each residence building, to kind of keep it brief, has a council which is made up of students who live in the building, and there's various kind of positions that are chaired on whatever you kind of want to contribute. So whether that's, looking into like a financial officer or the recreation or health and wellness or whatever it is, and that you might feel you are interested in helping out with. But what the residence council is, in short, responsible for is any additional programming that falls outside of residence programming, but that could be like a banquet event at the year end. I know we did like kind of a dance at the year end just now in March. It was a great event. So coordinate all of those clothing orders. If the building wants to order jerseys, or I know other buildings do kind of different trinkets and stuff that are meaningful to them. That's all done through the residence council. There's quite a bit of money that is kind of collected off student dues who live in residence, and it's kind of put into a pot for the buildings based on how many students live in each one of these buildings. And then from there, this group of money is kind of allocated how the residence council sees fit, right? So long as they're following the financial guidelines and not spending it on things that are prohibited. It's really a wide possibilities of how that money and how the building, and it helps shape the culture and kind of what goes on. So again, super encourage everybody to get involved with that. That'll all take place early September, and we'll circulate out more information once the school year starts. But it's good to put it on your radar now because there are ways to get involved as first year students. But yeah, I will say there's also just a lot of information that's going to come to you over the summer through your emails. You're going to kind of be bombarded with different stuff that is somewhat challenging to navigate or remember or kind of stay on track with. So feel free to email RLCs at stfx.ca, or residents or student life. Like you ask for help um, if you're have questions or things that you need help figuring out. But it's yeah, it's just good to get in the habit of checking your student email, and kind of there's a lot that's going to happen and things are going to progress over the summer. So yeah, that's kind of just a little spiel about that. MacKinnon is, yeah, it's a really great building. It is known for being a little bit higher energy. Um, there's intramurals. There's lots of other activities and things that are going on. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, are there any clubs? There's societies throughout CNFX. So there could be the outdoor society, or all of these different various activities and things that people are interested in that they could come together and be part of. And so uh, societies are there's a society night in September where we showcase a lot of those things that are going on. Most of the programs will have societies. If you're a health student, a business student, they have an investment society. They have all sorts of different kind of clubs and groups that are outside of residence operations, but they're open to everybody. And then intramurals as well. So if athletics or sport is something that interests you, intramurals are a great way to get involved with that. They often sign up teams like within the building, so it's not uncommon for MacKinnon Hall to have a water polo team, or to do an X basketball team, or those sorts of things. So there is lots going on, but that's all kind of more in September. That all starts to take place. Um, so do the rooms have mini refrigerators? That's a great question. They unfortunately do not as of right now. MacKinnon doesn't include that as one of the um amenities or additions in the rooms. I know a lot of students have bring their own refrigerators, and that's super useful. But no, they don't. They don't have mini fridges, but there are places here in town that you're able to purchase them at. Like Walmart has them, I know, on stock and that sort of thing. if you don't feel like, or if you're unable to transport one across from wherever you're coming from. I will say during move-in, one thing that has been extremely beneficial to myself as the RLC last year was the ability to use an elevator to move items upstairs. Um, this isn't available for all the residences, and it's not available throughout the school year. It's just something that we can make use of the service elevator for move in and move out times if there's large, clunky items that that don't move up the stairs well, right? So that's just another thing to keep in mind. Um, So yeah, so just to get it clear, so there is an elevator in MacKinnon Hall, but it isn't available to the residents half of MacKinnon Hall. So MacKinnon Hall is it's a shared building with the business office, which is made up of offices, and that's where student accounts is, payroll, finance, and human resources, that sort of thing. So no, it wouldn't be available for you to use like throughout the school year, just as an aid on move-in day if there are bulky items that you'd like to bring, like a fridge or something like that, but are concerned about your ability to move it if you get assigned up to fourth floor or that sort of thing. But that's done at the request of a staff member like myself or somebody else who can go and unlock that elevator to use on a case by case basis. Um, so moving along, so Lara shared the residence handbook, and so it's a really good, useful resource to kind of review for lots of good stuff. That's last year's, if you look at it, because we will be updating some minor changes to it for this upcoming year. I can say that there's not a lot that's going to change. So that the one that she posted is pretty thorough and detailed about all of the different guidelines. And it's really good to get yourself familiarized with the processes and how things work in residence here at St. FX. Um, but just in brief, there's some other like there's things I can go into, like things what to bring and what not to bring, but that really goes into great detail on that handbook, outlining what those items are, um, and kind of those residence standards and those expectations, right? But if you do have questions about specific items that you're thinking about, feel free to throw them in the chat. Basically, the rule of thumb is no open flame or element or heating device that's going to potentially cause a fire issue. And yeah, page 9, that's perfect. And uh, other like drinking paraphernalia or partying things that are prohibited. It's all outlined in there. But there are some ones that you wouldn't expect potentially. So it is good to like glass is an example of one, right? Or really concerned with the whole uh, glass glassware, whether that's like glass bottles, glass smoking devices, all those sorts of things. Anything that could potentially shatter and then the broken glass cause injury to somebody else. Those sorts of things. But won't get into too much detail about the do's and don'ts, but it's all there. Lara posted the page to it. Um, what I'd like to get through is just the last part here, what to expect over the summer. So there's going to be a get ready guide that's going to be mailed out to the home address in mid-May. And so it's going to have a bunch of important things for you guys to know about, things that you're going to need to know before you arrive, but specifically like some course required courses and stuff like that for first years. It's just a really good guidebook for you to kind of familiarize yourself with. There's also a X starts here modules that we require all students in their first year to complete. So it's in we're looking at about mid early July to have these modules all posted and uploaded and you guys all enrolled into them. They're pretty brief. We offer them to be done two different ways. One can be at your own time, asynchronously, just going through the information and then doing the quick quizzes that go with it. Another option that was pretty well received was having them kind of like a session like this where student life will actually go through the information and then kind of collectively, complete each module like that. And so like the four different mandatory modules, I think are healthy socializing, consent, um, uh, first year. I'm So Lara's going to post the information about the X Starts Here modules, but there's four of them, mandatory, and we do ask that all students do them. And so the quicker that you can get those done before coming to St. FX just means it'll be that much easier for you to transition and to not have to worry about doing them while you're here as a student and focus on your studies. Um, so Yes, so room allocations are going to be sent out sometime in July, and that's when you're going to find out specifically who you'll be living with. Um, but the one thing that we really need to push and really want to emphasize for you guys here is that June 1st is the deadline to accept your housing offer, and so it's really important that we know you're going to be staying with us at X in residence. And so, in order to reserve space, the housing applications need to be accepted for us to move you to a wait list if that is something you want, or figure out a roommate situation or anything after that fact. We do need to confirm like a bed for you, and then yeah. But the big thing is that if by June 1st, you haven't accepted your housing offer, we can't guarantee that there will be a house like a resident space for you, because we've had the highest residence numbers that I've seen since uh, being here at St. FX ever this last year. So there's a lot of interest. Really great. We're super happy to hear that, and it's a great sign of what we're doing here and the enjoyment. People want to come back to St. FX and they want to come back to live in residence, and that all speaks really well to what we're doing. But June 1st is when we need you guys to accept that offer. Another thing that you can do in the meantime before getting here is uploading your photo for your ID card. So all students will be issued student ID cards. These are loaded with your meals. They got access to DCB to eat at Starbucks or those sorts of things. Sign out your library books with it. The printers, if you're printing your assignments or anything like that, you swipe it on the machines. And then also getting into the building, right? We load in the access to the ID and or access to the building on the ID cards. MacKinnon Hall has physical hard keys to the rooms, so that'll be part of something that you'll pick up when you arrive to St. FX. But the student ID cards will be all pre-printed, and it's just one less step on move-in day to streamline it if you've submitted your photo and to the housing office, and they can have the card printed. So um, yeah, so there's a also a link here for student life services, new students. It has more information for setting up your email, um, going through registering your classes, the Xaverian modules. I think Laura might have posted that in the chat. If I go up, yes, it's the Saint FX Services Student Life new students, um, and yeah, so pretty useful portal to just kind of go through that, make sure that you're checking all those off. Thomas asked, "What is the link for the ID card thing?" So um, an email is going to be sent out in the summertime that housing office is going to have to outline those steps for you to upload a photo. But just check, keep an eye out for that email when it does come in, and you'll be able to then upload your profile photo that is going to get printed on your card. Um, so yeah, is there a kitchen type of thing in the dining hall for students to cook their own foods? So yeah, that's really a useful thing that Meal Hall, Morrison Hall, Sodexo have incorporated. It's called My Kitchen. It's for students who want to, make their own food, use their own use ingredients that are offered to them their own way. So different spices, or if you like your food cooked a certain way, there's cooking stations, so hot plates that are all set up, all of the ingredients to make whatever meals you want. There's a smoothie station with a refrigerator full of anything that you could possibly imagine. That's all. It tends to be used lots by students who have more dietary restrictions, or are uh, more uh, care a little bit more about the exact ingredients and how their food is prepared. But I will say that Morrison Hall and Sodexo does a fantastic job at the dining hall of providing all sorts of different options. There's always something that you are going to find that you're going to enjoy to eat. You can always find something to eat. They cycle through different types of pizzas. They do a new soup every single day. They have a great salad bar where you can make your own salads, make wraps or panini presses or whatever sorts of sandwiches that you might want to make. They'll do a grill station, which is all entirely gluten free for anyone who's celiac. And at the grill station, it's typically rice, but sometimes rice noodles as the base carb. But they'll do a meat or a tofu, and the workers will grill it right in front of you and add in whatever vegetables you want. And that one tends to take a little bit longer because you got to wait, but your meal is really hot, comes out like that. But then there's also just a kind of more of a cafeteria style where they'll have just the main meal, if that's like going to be lasagna or like a shepherd pie or any sort of chicken pot pie, or like whatever the main kind of serve yourself meal is. Drink stations and dessert as well. Yeah, milk, like everything on tap, coffee, and it's all you can eat. So you can definitely find something, and the food services are fantastic here. So that's a good question, because in MacKinnon Hall there isn't a kitchen for the students to use. So we get a lot of questions about Meal Hall, and as students who live here, you're going to be relying on Meal Hall as your primary uh, source of food on campus, right? Um, yeah. So I think moving on, there is the do's and don'ts through the residence guidebook. Really important to before you start to pack, figure out what is appropriate to bring, what's not appropriate to bring. There's a 5-week program that helps develop study skills and strategies at St. FX. It's called X-Act. I know there's some incentives in some of the first year courses where, if you're in a large like first year course like psychology or business 100, or, one of these English 100, or some of the main courses that all first years are taking, some of the professors in those will add incentives for students who do complete the X Act, whether that's 1 or 2% to your full total grade, just as a way of kind of reinforcing the need for this program that has been developed out. It really does help, transition students from high school learning to university level learning. And that is another thing that is, I think, included in the link that Laura shared earlier, as one of the resources there for you. So Mark asked, when do we have to sign up for the intramurals? The intramurals won't begin to sign up and take place until September. The leagues tend to run in like in the fall and in the winter. Uh, some of them run like throughout. So like basketball is an example of one that does fall and winter. Hockey does fall and winter, but they'll do like frisbee outside or soccer outside, and that those are both in the fall. They do flag football, all those sorts of things. But there are communications. I think the recreation that St. FX Instagram and the emails that are sent out with more information about those kinds of teams. But at any time when you do arrive at St. FX, feel free to just drop by the hub and chat with your CAs. They're experts in all of this knowledge, right? So they can help you navigate. If you came down and you said, "Hey, how do I join the hockey team?" Is MacKinnon one got one going on, and they can. The CAs are there to help you, get what you need to know or do what you need to do, right? Um, so but there also is alongside intramurals, there are club sports. Most of the varsity athletics aren't aren't always open to walk-ons. I know there are some varsity sports that do have like kind of a walk-on, the ability to participate, but all of the club sports will also have registration that takes place in September. And so, club sports, for example, we have a great rowing team. There's an equestrian team. There's a baseball team. I know we got the rugby team. The men's rugby is a club. So other kinds of sports that I think there's a curling club team as well. Other kinds of sports that aren't like uh, I guess not they don't compete in the youth sports varsity league, right? So all of those again are cool opportunities to get engaged and sign up for. Um, so Nicholas says, sorry, the link does not show general operating hours. Yeah, thanks, Laura, explaining there's 19 meals per week. Um, Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's open throughout. So like if the breakfast service is at 7:30 till 9:30, but if you need to get breakfast at like 10 in the morning, they will have things out like for you to get, like you can get a bagel and then you can go to the My Kitchen and make your own thing, but they won't have hot food out because of food safety. It can't sit out for more than like certain number of time, and they kind of need to. Uh, but it is open continuously. So if the only time you can eat, you have an early class and then you have class right through until 1 p.m. and you have a break at 10, but that doesn't line up with the meal times. There is always food you can go in and eat, but they do post the lunch hours are from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Dinner is from 4:30 till 7:30, and then breakfast is in the morning from 7:30 till 9:30 or 10, I think. So, uh, but yeah, it is open throughout all of that. Um, there's 9 meal periods per or 19 per week. There's 3 a day, but that would obviously mean there being 21. But on the weekend, so Saturday and Sunday, your breakfast is it's a brunch. They serve kind of like a later start brunch at 11, I think it opens. But if you do need to get in and have breakfast before that, there's just no like hot food or meal being prepared. You either have to go to My Kitchen and make eggs and that sort of thing, or have like a bagel, right? Because I do know that some students enjoy going to get breakfast early on the weekend for their schedule, and the brunch thing doesn't work for them. But that's why they advertise the 19 meals per week. So. Um, So I think that answers your question, Nicholas. It does close at 7:30. Uh, it's it's yeah. Basically the times they're condensed, but they do a really good meal service. So I do know that some universities have like their dining halls open till midnight, and their hours are much more around the clock. But here at St. FX, the Sodexo team, they put on a really good like dinner and lunch and breakfast in the set times, and there still is flexibility throughout the day around those meal times. But then by 7:30, you're unable to swipe in, and they start to pack food up, right? So, uh, Riley, if I have an unlimited meal plan, can I just go in and grab a snack whenever? Also, what's the policy around bringing food out of the dining hall? So yeah, if you have the unlimited plan, you can go to every single meal plan or meal that's offered, breakfast, lunch, and dinner 3 times a day. There's also a grab and go, which is the same food options that they're preparing for that day. Like if they're doing bacon cheeseburger, they're gonna have a bacon cheeseburger at the grab and go. Or if they're doing Hawaiian pizza, it'll be, like they have the same options that you can choose from, but it's kind of it's to grab and go, right? So there's no sitting down and eating. They pack it up into containers into a brown bag with a drink and a snack, and so then you can take it and just leave and go back to studying, or if you don't have time, you just have to grab lunch and go. But outside of that, they're pretty strict on what enters and what exits, what leaves meal hall. So they don't want like coffee cups or water bottles going in, and then to fill up. And then they don't want anything leaving really. So it's all food has to be consumed inside meal hall, and that's just how they operate their meal services. So, but there are options available. Like there's a Starbucks just beneath the meal hall, and there's other things, other cafes and things around campus that you can access. Um, it's just not like the meal hall, dining hall is every it's all you can eat, and it's eat in and nothing leaves with it, right? So. Um, So to clarify, with a limited meal plan, you only go to meal hall 3 times per day, not dropping in when you need a snack. Uh, yeah, so that's essentially it. The way that the meal plans work is that there's a swipe. So some of the plans are like 5 per week, and when you swipe your card for that meal, if that's whether that's breakfast, lunch, or dinner on that day, um, it counts as like your entrance for that meal. And so it won't allow you to swipe more than 3 times or it go 3 times in a day. And once you've swiped for lunch during the lunch block, I believe you need to wait until outside of that lunch period to swipe again. Um, but again, I'm not the like I that's the best of my knowledge. But again, meal hall is through Sodexo and campus housing services. And so Lara posted the link to that for more information. Um, yeah, mobile order at the Starbucks is available. I actually find it takes a little bit less time. It's more streamlined than going through the lineup sometimes. So it's been a big hit. The Starbucks is identical to any of the other Starbucks that you would go into, and all the same drinks and promotions and that sort of thing. So you collect your stars and everything, and so yeah, but it's been a big hit. So there, yeah, Lara confirmed. So if you have the unlimited plan, you can go in as many times during the day as you wish. Um, yeah, it's just uh, if you were like just getting a snack, the way that the meal hall, the dining hall operates is it's more to like go in and sit and eat while you're in there, and nothing leaves, right? So, uh, yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Went the full hour. I'd encourage you, yeah, to take a look at the dangerous weapons and prohibited weapons, and to keep an eye on your emails, right? So there's the relaxed start if that's something that interests you. The sooner we know about that, and the better. If you're not feeling like you're not going to be able to arrive on the 30th, it's good to know if that's going to be before or later, so we can make arrangements for someone to meet you and welcome you to St. FX. Um, and yeah, but keep in mind that we'll be communicating that specific time, and just keep an eye on your email. This is one thing. The two takeaway points from this is June 1st is the housing applications all due, and then information is going to be emailed throughout the summer via your student email account. So, um, so Riley asked, can I do a relaxed start on the 29th if I email someone my family's driving up? Yeah. So totally, that's an example. If there is if there's circumstances like that, you just need to let student life or housing know, or the RLCs, and we can definitely make those arrangements so that we know when you're arriving and that sort of thing. But just keep in mind that like all of our programming and our move-in day and all of our plan and preparation is in place for to welcome and to kind of open up MacKinnon on the 30th. So if you are arriving earlier, there isn't that same kind of like where the staff aren't working and they're not there's no programming happening. It's a there is it's not as I guess uh, it's not as a grand welcoming, I guess, so to speak. So there isn't any programming or any sort of events. It's not orientation week yet, and but that's sounds good. So yeah, I think that's everything I'd like to have recorded, Laura. So thanks everybody for coming in. If there's any more chat, I'm gonna stay around here, answer your questions. But I appreciate you all for stopping in. I look forward to meeting everybody here who shows up in August, and we'll be hearing more from me as the summer goes on. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate having the session and joining me tonight.